Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see here on our channel, our website, or social media. It's in the description below, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing the TAG Heuer Carrera chronograph Calibre Heuer 01. This is a model that debuted back in 2015, and as you can see, it represents considerable cross-pollination of Hublot's design ethic into the world of TAG Heuer. This was shortly after Jean-Claude Biver took over TAG Heuer as his ward within the LVMH watch group, and the revolution in design starts on the outside, where the watch is larger, a little bit more highly stylized than previous Carreras, and continues on the dial, which is open and, as you can see, allows a view straight down to the caliber 01. So let's talk a little bit about the size. Of course, the watch is large at 45 millimeters in diameter. The timepiece is also fairly thick. It's 16.9 millimeters thick. It's not going to fit underneath most cuffs, but then it's not designed to. From lug to lug, it's 52.3 millimeters, and there is a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs, though you'll note the strap that's included features an overlap of the lug profile. So while the spacing itself is 22 millimeters, the strap is actually broader than that. You can see how it's shouldered to wrap around the edge of the lugs, even though the spacing itself underneath is 22 millimeters. Let's take a look at the hardware and the software. The strap is vented. It's all vulcanized rubber. It features molded character lines on the flank, and the perforations allow it to vent well. You can also see the TAG Heuer shield molded into the end of the strap. It thins out towards the underside, and that allows it to bend under the soft underside of your wrist. You'll note that there are no perforations for a pin because it doesn't use a pin buckle. There is a PVD titanium clasp, and you can see its twin trigger release. It also features a clamping system internally. So this clasp will take the strap, it will crimp it, and then it will put any excess length underneath the strap body. So there's no need for minder loops, and when closed, it's very clean. There's no excess strap length visible. The case, as I mentioned, is a bit different from previous Carreras in that the lugs aren't completely integrated into the case band. You can see how they're stepped out. There's a PVD mid case, and then there are the ends of the lugs, and not only are they different tones, but you can see they're actually different planes, as the rounded flank of the case isn't integrated into the angular sweep of the lugs. So this is an innovation, a little bit different than every Carrera since 1963. This watch has its own distinctive case lines. There's also a little bit of a nod to the polyhedron lug end profile of some of the more aggressive Grand Seiko sports watches, and to that end you have an angular fashion with different facets in both polish and satin. You can see that the bezel itself features a satin flank and then a polished top. It's rendered in ceramic, so this bezel is going to be your heat shield. It's going to take most of the knocks when this watch bangs into something, and the super hard ceramic is going to prevent scratches to the metal. There are rubber shoulders, as you can see, around the crown, and then there are pusher tubes acting as braces against shearing for the chronograph pushers, which are conventional pump style with lovely little polished bevels around their circumference and then satination on their top and their side. The watch is 100 meters water resistant, fully loomed and automatic, so it is a dyed-in-the-wool sports watch, and you can see it features a tachymeter scale outboard, which is a traditional sporting scale used in conjunction with the chronograph seconds hand to gauge the speed of an object over, for example, a kilometer or a mile. Generally, this is used to time planes and race cars, as the calibration, which ends at 65 units, is fairly high. This isn't one for horse races or sailboats. Now, the dial. I mentioned this is where you can see a little bit of the Hublot design ethic being introduced to TAG Heuer. The dial is incredibly deep. It starts with a Rehaut or flange outboard and then slopes down to what is essentially the base plate of the movement. You can see the motion works at center, which govern the action of the hands and the setting of the hands. There are also cantilevered applique indices. The dial is fully loomed. There's a concentric guilloche or concentric striation on each one of these metallic dished sub-registers. You'll also note that the chronograph hands, such as the seconds, the minutes, and the hours, have been varnished red to stand out against the regular time. And then there is a circumferential skeletonized date disc for the date. You can see right there below the 3 o'clock index is where there is a white panel that sort of backlights the date. The watch does have hacking seconds, and we're going to make sure we're not in the date change danger zone here. But the watch also includes a quick set that allows you to rapidly cycle the date. And you can see that skeletonized date wheel turning around as I do so. Flipping everything on its head, we're going to talk about the case back. This is called the Heuer Caliber 01. It was previously known as the Caliber 1887, which was Tag Heuer's year of foundation, but what you need to know about it is that it's some highly modified Seiko 6S78. So this is a movement whose architecture originally debuted in 1998 with Seiko and Grand Seiko. It was purchased by Tag Heuer and then customized, which means you get a lot of good tech in here. 50-hour automatic winding power reserve. It beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour, pivots on 39 joules. It has the quick set and the stop seconds. It's a physically attractive movement. The finish is mechanical, but the finish is attractive and so is the architecture. It also includes a visible column wheel, which I will try to find as I rotate through my light box. Oops, there we are. It has a column wheel architecture like all Seiko and Grand Seiko chronographs. It uses a column wheel for function cycling and includes a vertical clutch mechanism. So when you start the chronograph, there is no stagger or jump to the chronograph seconds hand. Also, because of the vertical clutch, you can leave it running on a full-time basis with no hazard, wear, or tear to the movement. This is a timepiece that is big, bold, sporty, and powered by a distinguished movement. Email tmasso@thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. And we're back with the abundantly loomed Heuer Carrera 01.